Welcome to Single Moms Unfolded. I'm Kelly Vera, your host, and I'm super excited you took the time to spend with us today. This is a podcast by a single mom for single moms to help single moms. Right? This is our safe space to grow, connect, and learn together. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hello and welcome to Single Moms Unfolded. Today we are lucky to have an extraordinary woman here, Juri Love. She's a single mom. She's a musician. She's an actress. She's a model. She's a TV and film producer, an entrepreneur, and so much more. So we're so lucky to have you. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kelly, for having me on your show.
So tell us, how long have you been a single mom?
Since July 10th, 2019.
Okay. So you're kind of a newly single mom, 4 years or so, 5 years getting into the thing. So what was the first moment you knew you were going to be a single mom?
It was absolutely shocking, and then it was really heartbreaking.
Yeah, it is. It is. What was your first reaction? Were you scared? Were you nervous, or just shocked and didn't know where to go from there?
I remember crying like 48 hours straight, and then my skin started to peel.
Yeah, for sure, right? Yeah, but you have to get all of that out. You have to get out of there. Now, were your kids shocked as well? I'm sure the whole family was like, "Oh my God, this is."
Yes, and my son at the time was still like 8 years old, and my daughter was only like 3. And then I remember I was crying, and my son, as sweet as he is, he said, "Mom, tomorrow is a different day. Everything's gonna be okay. I just need time to grow up, and I just need to become MLB player and take care of you."
Oh my God, how sweet at 8 years old to say that. To get okay, it's a new day. Oh my God, that's wonderful.
Yes, he said tomorrow is a new day, and I remember posting on Facebook page. So I usually post on my Facebook page really positive things only intentionally. I'm a journalist, and then my contents are validated and stuff. So I even personal one, I'm very careful. But that day, I remember saying life is not effing fair, and
Right.
that one sentence got like maybe 200 messages, including DM and then phone calls, and because I'm not like that at all.
Right.
So I got bombarded with loves and kindness and care and phone calls. And I remember talking to some of my close friends and crying and telling them what happened, and no idea. It was just so dark, scary, and shocking.
Yeah. Well, it's great that you had support. You know,
Yes.
it's great that
Yeah.
people reached out to you because some people just go through that and they're like all alone and they get stuck in that loneliness. So tell us a little about your family and let's share a little bit about your story.
So all of my family from Japan are in Japan. I'm the only one here, but I have 2 children, Jaden, Jayla, and Jaden is 12, and then Jayla is 6, and they're superstars.
Oh, oh, so cute, super sweet. So once you're going through the motions and you're getting divorced, you have to go through the divorce and everything. And how did the kids handle everything? You had to do some co-parenting stuff, which is a shock, right? Co-parenting with anybody is tough, especially if the marriage didn't work out. Do you have to do scheduling and stuff? How are the kids with like the new normal? Are they feeling comfortable with how things are right now?
I must say that kids really truly don't have any idea, and I think still these days, like sometimes we're definitely getting used to it, but these like day by day type of things that I don't think they have awareness of what happened, and me too. So it was just like um a lot of like searching, figuring out, and yeah, just like sucks.
Yeah, no, it does. It sucks, and it's really hard. I know some of the hardest times with my daughter was when, she maybe didn't want to go to her dad's house and she would be holding on crying, like, I don't want to go. And I was like, I don't have a choice. I didn't make this decision. I don't have a choice. You have to go. And I remember that just it's so hard. And she was only 5. So she didn't really understand either. She was usually used to being with me and now switching. She was really, it was really hard to transition. So what were some of the biggest struggles when you first learned that you were getting, the marriage was breaking up?
Well, to be honest, he got somebody pregnant and left completely, and the baby was born a month after. So it was new person and then new baby, and then that stigma, and then dealing with that, and then she was harassing us, he was harassing us. So it wasn't just like one person stuff, but the two gang up and then started to harass us. So it was just constant nagging, constant blaming, shifting, and just like I don't know why, but it just like you're done with me, just live with your life. But it was just like I was just targeted. So navigating through that was just so bad.
Yeah, because it's not just you dealing with your whole life changing, but now you have the outside sources also pushing in different directions.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh, I'm so sorry that So, what did you learn from all this? What is there something that you learned from all this chaos that you had to go through?
um I feel like um to be honest with you, like I was homeless when I was 18, and I went through extreme adversity growing up, and I thought I was tough enough, but having two small children with me, it was just extra pressure. Like, how can I do this? And I just learned that whatever the external thing that happens to me, at the end of the day, if my mental health, mental stage is not okay, everything's gonna fall apart. So now, say when I was homeless, I was broken, and then but I was working, and I was the only one who was taking care of myself. But now I have two kids who are innocent and depending on me, my income, like roof above us, all that stuff. So I learned that it's just whatever happens, you need to internally say that you know you got this, and then have to take care of yourself first before anything else. Because no matter what kind of success you have in your life, if you're not okay, you can't show up to work and you can't go to these opportunities. So my kids models, and they are on TV, they are on a movie, myself too. So we have very high demand job that productions and people, multi-million dollar movies, like expect us to be perfect. So in order for us to not just survive the single mom life, and then single parent you know life, but we are in an industry where you are asked to be so and so and so in these situations with like hundreds of people. So how can you survive that? So I learned that whatever that outside noises and attacks, that I just need to create a boundary and really self love, self care. And I really didn't know that. I didn't know that I have to come first to be able to take care of myself and my children. So that's what I learned.
I think that's really big, and I think that's the lesson I had to learn too. I was so busy taking care of everybody else, my ex and my daughter, and I was just like exhausted all the time. And when it came down to what's important, I'm like, how about me? That's when I felt like I was strongest too. And I think that's a good thing for single moms to remember. It seems counterintuitive to take care of yourself first when you have children, but you have to be strong for them.
Yes. And I learned that some days that if you're not okay, you tell your children, we have to be like a team. Mama is not okay today. I just have to take a nap. I just have to check out a little bit. And then just, I just have to rest extra time. But, after they know that, and they know that sometimes mommy has to take a break.
I love that. I love that. I need time. Because sometimes you feel guilty, but that makes you a better mom to take that time for yourself so you're not losing your patience or freaking out over something silly because you're able to maintain that calmness.
And my kids are so good because sometimes, like, when I'm super tired and, like, mentally, physically, like, I can't take it anymore, I just tell them, like, I'm overwhelmed. So, and then my kids are like, it's okay. And then they bring me water. They just, I got this. And then my son, he's 12 and he's gotten babysitting license from American Safety and Health,
Awesome.
certified. So he's just renewed his license. So he's certified to babysit. My daughter's old enough, independent enough, but at the same time, it just really nice buffer to have someone, like, even their children, like, you just be transparent and be able to communicate the way that I did not have when I was growing up. I think the parents or authoritative figures that we didn't know what was going on with them, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
want that to be the case because kids wonder why mommy's crying, why mommy's not okay. But then when I tell them the truth, they understand, and they understand that, yeah, we are all human beings and we all have to take time to heal. And then after we heal, like, just like an injury, you have a cut, you can't move your finger, and you just have to put band-aid on. Same thing as mental health, but people don't know how to triage it well. So I will always be eloquent to my children, and then they do the same. When they are not okay at school, they tell me 5W and 1H, and I will always be able to report to the teacher or counselor what happened. I train them to be as advocate as possible, as eloquent as possible of their forefront feelings. So it's a communication that's really a key that I learned to survive.
Wow, that's so powerful. Because so many kids, they're like upset and they don't even know why. They're not given the language to know. They're just like, I'm in a bad mood. But that's great that you're teaching them what feelings are, what they mean, and how to express them.
Sure. Um, I am a journalist and I've covered a lot of mental health issues especially after the global pandemic. And even the school system, they are doing the professional training for mental health triage and really bringing up to the level of emotional intelligence. And how much of languages and tools do you have to take care of your mental health? And that's really changing and shifting. I just covered an article about the police officers, police department's mental health, where a lot of police officers can't talk to their feelings and because of the confidentiality. And I had a podcast guest that he lost his colleague after the retirement to suicide.
Oh,
And I'm just telling you, not just the single mom stage, a lot of things are happening and changing in a way that we've never experienced growing up. So my daughter, my son, they have guidance counselors. My daughter has like lunch bunch and then counseling at school. And then she told me the breathing technique that she learned from the guidance, which is like, go every finger, inhale, exhale. And then she saw some girl at the dance class. And then she was really upset about her tights or something. She was really crying and making like um, a scene. My daughter goes up to her, everything's okay, breathe in, breathe out, and
oh
then
wow.
finger techniques. So, and also when the incident happens, I'm a journalist, so I always tell them 5W and 1H, where what, and so they tell me exactly what happened and when and who, and then where, why, and then I'm able to elaborate what happened, and they can go back to the camera, and then they can identify what happened, and they are able to address moving forward that make sure it's not going to happen. So it's a definitely different ball game that our children are really taking care of by our school system too.
Wow, wow. So, you being a journalist, I have to talk about your article because it's really cool. You had a blog, 11 Ways to Survive as a Single Mom. And I thought it was really cool. And I like the first one. I think you had do not put on emotion, apply it as a business transaction. That I think is so big because we can get caught up in so much of the he said, she said, and the emotions of, they've done wrong to me that you can't see straight. And I think that's really big.
Absolutely. One of my friend, shout out to her, told me, especially, when I first became a single mom, that you have to take care of it as almost administration work. So almost like a business. So even going to court, going to talk to the lawyer, and just, making track of what happens and stuff. And do not invest your emotion, because you have days that, my days are crazy, like every day. So, for instance, I wrote 23 articles last month, and
Wow.
I'm flooded with information. Today, I just got text while I was at work to do different assignment. So, if I start to drain myself to this, nonsense, and then like something that you cannot fix, um, my productivity will go down, and therefore it would affect my income, therefore it would affect my rapport with my boss, and it just like down the hill. So I really appreciated that. And recently I wrote an article about a high school student who had her art showcase, and then her Instagram profile says, my mom told me, don't you cry over spilled milk. And I really like that, because things are broken already, and then when you become a single mom, like the relationship's already broken. So how can you move forward with an attitude that you don't necessarily put your emotion invested in it, because it's not worth it. Invest your emotion into your children and their love, and then it will return back to you. Not the broken relationship, but the right people, right friends, like especially female friends that I rely on.
Right.
I really feel that, rather than incompetent partner, unreliable partner, I rather invest my emotion, time, and love to a reliable friends and then competent relationship.
Right. That people care and you give back and take. It's a give and take. Yeah. It's a good relationship support system. And speaking of support system, I also like how you talked about, getting the help you need. If you need to seek therapy, you need financial assistance. Don't just struggle. Sit there and ask, right? There's a lot of things you mentioned, something through the YMCA to get, scholarships for kids' activities. I don't think a lot of single moms take advantage of all these things. I think sometimes they get overwhelmed and they're like, I don't have any money. My kids can't do this. But I think that's a good topic to ask and see what's out there.
Absolutely. So what I learned is that um, recently I did a tax filing. Uh, Even the divorce contract says about who to claim if you have more than one child. So I don't know the state by state law, but in Massachusetts, we recently decided that dominancy is the most important thing to claim two children or three children. So whoever has dominancy, regardless of the divorce contract, you can claim the tax. And then you are also able to deduct a lot of things, kids' activities and everything. And at the end of the day, if you're a certain income, like a low income, you're eligible for food stamp. You're eligible for the, in Massachusetts, Mass Health, which is huge. So I haven't paid a penny for any healthcare, which is amazing. And then therapy and all that stuff, it's all covered. And don't be shameful for um the income bracket where, say, just be honest with you, say housing authority, if it's three people in a household, if you are making less than $52,000, that's a cutoff. And I don't even go above that. Like, I'm so far away from that number. So, I think knowing exact number and then being very, very logical about your financial status, and then what can you be qualified. So, for instance, this summer, there's a Foxborough Recreation Department. I asked for their scholarship, and then they say, yeah, you're covered 100%. And then, you just have to ask first. And then if they say no, there's a sign language camp that I couldn't be covered. But then there's other camp from different department that was covered. So I think case by case, but you just always have to ask, is there a scholarship? Is there anything that you can help to support my children's activities? And then there's a wonderful organization called Coffee Kids, CONFI kids.org, which my friend Rachel started, 501c3 nonprofit, that they do amazing fundraiser, and they help the single parent or help the people in need for kids to do extracurricular. So my daughter's dance is completely covered by them. Somebody did generous work to fundraise, so I don't have to worry about paying for her dance lesson. And YMCA is covering 85%. I'm getting SNAP, I'm getting the food stamp, and I just applied for the self help, which is the fuel assistance, because sometimes you need to remember the rent. Sometimes if you don't pay hot water and heat, the fuel is included. So people don't know that because you're not paying the fuel part of it, that you're not qualified for the fuel assistance. That's wrong, because it's covered within the rent. So I got $900 check for fuel assistance to cover the portion of the rent. So these
Oh,
just like little things, but it always adds up and help you to get through.
absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought if you were paying in rent that you would get fuel assistance and that. That's a very good point to do your research and ask questions, right? If you don't
Absolutely.
ask, and the answer is always going to be no, you have to ask. So, one, you're a big advocate for mental health, right? You put that on your 11, or sorry, yeah, 11 things to survive single mom. Tell us a little tiny bit more about that.
So mental health was never talked about, and then I have a book out. It's called A Gift from Adversity. I have this coming Monday public event where I talk Meet the Author series about mental health. The PTSD, trauma, depression, anxiety, those are never ever talked about growing up in Japan. In fact, I tried to kill myself when I was 15 because I was never believed about sexual abuse. And that was done by my father and two uncles. And I just feel that back then in Japan, incest, sexual abuse, child sex abuse was never really talked about. And in certain countries now, 2023, are not talked about. America is absolutely advanced, and especially I just watched a movie called She Said, and then
Okay.
there's another movie, Spotlight. So She Said it was a Harvey Weinstein, who's a powerful Hollywood producer, sexually assaulted a lot of people, and
Yeah.
people couldn't speak out because of loss of job. And then I think a Spotlight was, Catholic priests and just like Boston Globe investigative reporters putting this, crime to the light. So I feel a lot of things are coming forward. But what people don't understand, when you are raped, sexually assaulted, child sex abuse, domestic violence, whatever the trauma that you experience, the mental health issue, what happens is physical part of it is over in like 5-10 minutes when you are raped or sexually assaulted. But then the mental health part of it, because we don't know so much about brain, it lasts, it has a lifelong impact. And I am an example of suffering through the PTSD and mental health issues that was never put together into a word. So I just covered this incredible story, just putting, it's going to come out this week or next week. The town of Foxborough hired community resource social worker which bridges fire and police department. Where before, when the 911 call comes for the mental health issues, like the suicidal attempt and all that stuff, especially during the pandemic, the police and the fire comes, and then maybe they will hospitalize people. They will just be in ambulance.
Right.
But then now they are recognizing it, so that they hire this very super licensed social worker that can assess and then go to the 911 call when people are having mental health crisis. So I feel like not only us as a civilian, but the leadership and then the town and the police and fire, and even within the police department. In New Hampshire, there's a wellness squad where if there's a 911 expected traumatic call, the team is waiting for police officers to come back and debrief. And even police academy is getting a little bit longer training to debrief and be able to prevent PTSD. Because once you get the PTSD, it is so hard to get rid of. And then small things can trigger you. But then I feel like, say, think about when you have an open wound and then be able to triage it like right away. So or burn or cuts, anything we know, or even like fever, we go to CVS and then get Tylenol, ibuprofen as a mom. But how do you triage somebody who's having a panic attack,
Right.
or like depression, suicidal thoughts? As a mom, I don't have like 30 ways to triage somebody. Okay.
Right.
But then that's the thing about like the wrong thing about having so much stigma, because mental health comes first before physical health too, or vice versa. It has to work together. Your body, mind, soul has to work together, and otherwise you can't accomplish anything. You can't be happy. You can't go out. You can't go to work. You just really a mess.
Right.
So what I'm trying to promote as an advocate is it is okay to talk about your mental health, and it is more than okay to tell that you're not okay.
Okay, right.
It is more than okay to seek for help, and just make sure that you go to the right people and the right resources.
Awesome. So tying into the end, how do you get through the hard days? What is something you do if you're having a really bad day and nothing's going right? Do you have something that we can give our single moms that you can give us some advice?
I really like simple thing, as simple as lighting a candle, buying a flower for yourself. Very simple, but you can do that. I like to go to Starbucks and then get my matcha latte.
Yeah, that does make for a good day, having a treat, yes.
I like acupuncture.
Okay.
And I just got this wonderful card. It's called DBT deck. This is on Amazon.
Okay.
So DBT is dialectical behavioral therapy, and then it's 101 ways to triage your mental health, and then it has completely different things that you can do tangibly. So each card has a self-care practice, Teflon mind, compassion for others. So
that's awesome.
You just pick different card and just read, and I like it a lot. So I highly recommend the DVD deck.
Okay, I'll have to put it in the show notes. Yeah, awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you, Juri, for taking your time today to share your story and all this wonderful knowledge.
Absolutely. Thank you, Kelly, for having me.
We want to thank you for tuning in. And remember, every Thursday there's a new podcast episode, so don't miss it. We would love to stay connected. Please check us out at myhappyplaceforlife.com. And while you're there, click on the services tab to see what awesome coaching we have. It's our mission to give single moms a shortcut to the life they want after divorce. You don't have to do it alone. We are here to be your guide. You can also check out our free training on our Facebook group, Happy Life 101 for single parents. And if you'd like to follow us on Instagram, that's My Happy Place for Life, the number 4. Thank you so much for tuning in today. And remember, you're smart, you're beautiful, and you got this.